That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 60. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benesowitz, and we are here. The Nets lose a tough one, so I'm in a shit mood to begin that. They fall to the Milwaukee Bucks, 124-118. Nets on a 3-game losing streak. Knicks on a 3-game winning streak right now. Nets in jeopardy of losing the 2 seed and falling to 3. Bigger deal. I think some of their vulnerabilities have been shown. And the Knicks keep cooking. They keep winning. A big win versus the Memphis Grizzlies. They have the Denver Nuggets, who look like they're going to be resting or not playing a couple of guys. And 6 games left now for each team, Alex. We're at the home stretch, and here we go. How are you doing?
Good. 7, I think, left for the Knicks, which is interesting. But, so like a bunch of guys are out for the Nuggets tomorrow. Murray, obviously, Morris, Barton, and Dozier. Yeah. And, it's kind of weird because once I realized I was watching the end of the Nets game just now.
Right.
And once I realized that I should actually be rooting for the Nets in this because a win for the Nets puts the Knicks like 3 games out of the 3 seed, right. With 7 left.
It still would be tough to do because the Bucks schedule is poop.
Yeah, but now it's essentially over. 4 or 3.5.
Milwaukee's not losing. Milwaukee's not going 2-5. Their schedule is too easy.
Right. But if it was in 3 games, you never know. If the Knicks, and the Nuggets, you never know.
You don't ever know. I'd be pretty surprised if the Knicks were able to catch the Bucks right now with how many games are left and how well Milwaukee's playing. Nets shit effort. They look terrible. They didn't play well. And it was just a disaster. And it was a nightmare. And I'm trying not to overreact with the team that's played so well all season. They're on a 3-game losing streak and something I'm not used to, really, to be honest. So it's kind of been fucked up to watch that. But it was the effort that bothered me. It was some of the coach Steve Nash was a disaster. He was terrible. Hopefully he can learn from that. And it gets me to the point where I'm like, if they don't have James Harden, Nets aren't winning a championship. And now I'm scared. And I'm trying not to overreact. It's just 2 games. They've lost by a couple of points each time in Milwaukee. Like that's going to happen. But it's still, that was tough. That was tough to watch, Alex. I'm in a bad mood. I'll be honest with you. I'm in a pissed off mood from that game.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, that's why I was like, once the Nets got Harden, I feel bad. Once the Nets got Harden, it was that's why I was like, it's now it's like if they're all 3 healthy and all right, man, the Nets are winning it all. Like without him, it's a crapshoot. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just
yes,
yeah,
but also
they're beatable.
Well, also the idea of like the guys they gave up. I mean, the Nets are a lot better with Allen and
that's true.
I'm not saying they're Harden, but if you put them on this court versus Milwaukee, I'd like them in the rotation. For obvious reasons. But then if you don't have Harden, you don't have them. It's just like the trade never happened. Basically,
it's like a different reality, like Back to the Future. Now we're on a different timeline.
I watched Back to the Future yesterday and today. That's so funny you say that. Yeah, in the mornings when I take care of my son, I try to put on something that's not news, not sports. Something that just takes my mind off things. And I was like, you know what, Ryan, we're gonna watch Back to the Future. Funny you say that. Haven't seen it in like 5 years.
Did he like it?
I didn't care. He pooped, and then he was happy. But I liked it. It was cool. Yeah, Back to the Future.
When does Ryan turn 1? When is his official birthday?
September 8th.
Like he has a fake birthday.
Yeah, his fake birthday is August 6th, and his real one's September 8th. Not that anybody gives a shit about me watching Back to the Future. I just thought that was funny. I haven't had many. I feel frustrated. I feel angry because it's like Joe Harris doesn't show up. Again, he was 4 for 8 from 3, which was good. He hit his open jumpers, but all the other stuff that I loved about Joe, it's like when they play big teams, he's a shell of himself. And
does he think not that he gets scared? Do you think that they have his number, like they know what's going on, or they know his scouting report?
I don't know.
Is he open and just not hitting the shots?
No, he was 4 for 8 from 3. He hit shots. It was the other shit. It was like, I don't know, just not defending, not doing screens, not getting the rebounds. It got just destroyed on the glass by the Bucks. It was so bad. The effort stuff just killed me. It killed me. You shouldn't. I mean, the effort plays. That's like the stuff that if you're going to win a championship, you have to have. And I never thought I'd say this, but they lack energy. And I think James Harden gives them energy. They had no energy out there until they put Bruce Brown in the fucking end of third quarter to fourth. And then they had some energy. They took a lead, and they just got crushed. No, Giannis wasn't even that good. And I'm overreacting. He takes
too many threes. I know you're mad. It's okay. Giannis takes too many threes. I don't, for somebody who can't, he's not as bad as everybody thinks he is. He's not Ben Simmons, but like he shouldn't just walk up the court and pop a 3 like with 15 left in the 24. Like I don't know what that's about. He did
He took some bad shots there at the end. But early on he was making all those shots, and they gave him shots. And then they're up 4 and they foul Giannis and he hits both free throws to make it 6. Kyrie turns over the ball and the rest is history. So that's just me kind of getting that off my chest. Sorry, Knicks fans that are listening to this podcast. Yes, your team is good. Your team's playing well. We'll talk Knicks too. So I just had to get that off my chest.
Yeah. No, it's listen, we talk about everything here where it's not just it's not a one-track podcast. You know what I mean? Not two dudes with mics that talk Knicks. It's two dudes with mics that talk everything with another Mike and Alex. And that's bad weather fans.
You're into listening to net content now, apparently.
I liked your Brooklyn basketball podcast that you did with Evan Roberts yesterday. It was entertaining. Listened to it this morning. I was saying to you is that I actually can follow a Nets podcast a little more than I could before.
Sure.
Because of you. It's just like the more of the nuts and bolts stuff. Like I can actually have my own opinion. I'm not just like, oh yeah. Like I'll know the players obviously and where they are in the standings and stuff like that. But like the ins and outs of Joe Harris and how he he's not just a shooter, and Bruce Brown how he plays defense on the perimeter, and like what I mean, like just like the rotations and Nash and this and I don't know, whatever. It's just I can figure that stuff out a little more.
Yeah, things you don't have to worry about with a perfect basketball team right now. The Knicks are playing awesome. Perfect. I mean. It's funny. It's funny because I'm seeing two things on Twitter right now, Alex. I'm seeing Nick hate, and then I'm seeing a couple people like, "Why not? We could win the title."
I don't think anybody's like serious that the Knicks can win the title. Right. I think that's just people just having a good time and just enjoy it, go crazy. Sure. It is weird to be confident. It's weird that like I'm going into this Grizzlies game and they're up 10, when they were the first quarter was they played terrible and they ended the first quarter up like 5. I'm like, What is happening right now? Like, what I mean? Why are they not down 15? Like it's just that's a good team. Like they're just a good team. And it doesn't make any sense. You know what's going to happen though? The Knicks should sweep every award. It should be Julius Randle should be MVP and most improved player. Manuel Quickley is the rookie of the year. Tibbs is coach of the year. Derrick Rose is sixth man of the year. Leon Rose, Executive of the Year. Is there any other that I'm missing? Is there any other awards that the Knicks should win? Because I think I nailed all the ones that they should be. All NBA, Julius Randle. All Rookie, Emmanuel Quickley, of course. Anything else?
RJ Barrett gets Most Improved Player of the Year too. They give it out twice for the
Co. Most Improved.
Yeah. Co. How about that New Yorker magazine with the Knicks Nets thing on it?
That was weird. Yeah,
that was weird. Tweet. I was like, and everybody's like, all I could think about. This is my honest answer was people poking fun at the illustrations. People being like, look how much bigger the Nets players are. Look at the Knicks. Oh, the Knicks this and like the back and forth is just stupid. And all I could think about was, man, the New Yorker still around. Like, good job by the New Yorker. Like,
how about Slam Magazine? Slam Magazine having Julius Randle and RJ Barrett on the cover. I'm like, do they still print magazines? Like, I'm just like, I'm surprised. Like, Slam Magazine used to be my Bible, and like seeing them on the Slam cover is really like cool. Like, I thought that was like really cool. Like, I used to cut out take the posters and put them on my wall in the middle of the magazines, and like look at the end of the magazine and all the high school players coming up. You know what I mean? I remember seeing Charlie Villanueva in the back, Sebastian Telfair, those guys like that, like reading about that in high school. And then I see them on the cover. It's cool, but it's just like, and then they're like, oh, we have a special gold edition for the magazine too in print. I'm like, what's that? I'm like, let me look at it. It's $95. I'm like, okay, like let's calm down. You know what I mean? Like it's cool, but like, I'm not, going to do that, but more power to you if you do it, man. Like somebody's going to buy them. So clearly, so anyway,
you're in too good of a mood. Can I bring up a topic that'll maybe make you a little not angry, but at least I'll get you going because I've been wanting to talk about
Lindor. Lindor, is that what you want to bring up?
No, it's not Lindor. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but it's just kind of the way things have gone.
Go for it.
I think it's really cool that Knicks fans are celebrating how well they're playing. They should. It's been a long time. They have a good team. They have a fun team, a competitive team.
I sense a butt.
No, there's no butt coming. There's no butt. There's no butt. I also think Net fans 2 years ago should celebrate the team they had. They came from dog shit. They had no draft picks. They were out of sorts. They sucked. It's a great thing when the Nets did what they did. They got the 6th seed, and then they beat the Sixers in game 1 and lost the last 4. But I just find it interesting, like if Knicks fans getting mad at making fun of those Net teams, oh, you're having your championship, and then Net fans making fun of Knicks fans being like, oh, you're the 4 seed. You won, congrats, you were the Eastern Conference 4 seed championship.
Beat all the bad teams.
Why can't both? Why can't people be like I said, I hate that the Knicks are winning. It bothers me because I don't like the Knicks.
Of course.
But at the same time, if I were a fan of that organization, I'd be as excited as everybody else. So I think both work.
Yeah. No, well, it's the more the Knicks win, like this has nothing to do with your points. Let me not say that. But no, I hear what you're saying. It's just the constant banter, and your tweet today about the net, whatever you said that I quote tweeted, and we were just like kind of playing along. I was like, you don't understand if the Knicks beat the Nets in the playoffs, so we're burning this app to the ground. Like Knicks fans are going to like be. Yeah, you would just delete, not delete, just deactivate for a little bit, or just go on Twitter.
It would be worth it. I mean,
change your password.
How long would that take for me to get over? I guess depends how long. If the Knicks kept going in the playoffs and they pulled out like an 8
right now, it would have to be Eastern Conference Finals, right? If wouldn't it be? Or if the Nets get the 1 seed, it would be the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, if the Nets were right now, they're going to be a 2-3, and the Knicks look like they're going to be 4 or 5. I would say so. Yeah, it would mean they would meet in the final round of the East.
That would be crazy.
That would be bad. That would be bad.
That would be crazy. We wouldn't be able to watch that together.
I'm just hoping the Hawks beat you in 5, and then we can be done with this. Then it's over. Trae Young's there and
just nailing threes, drawing fouls, playing the worst kind of basketball you can ever play that nobody likes. But it's I haven't seen one person that's like really a Trae Young fan. I mean, I gotta be honest. Like Trae Young is just like one of those players that's just excruciating to watch. Like I don't like. He's always like taking dives. He's always like trying to draw a foul. He can get hot, and he's a great shooter. But like, what is he? You know what I mean?
Like, he irritates people. He definitely irritates people with those moves he has. It's a pain in the ass. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Well, it was like kind of Harden was with the Rockets, not what he is with the Nets, but what he was with the Rockets. He was always getting to line. Like somebody made a highlight tape of Harden's time with the Rockets, and it was all him shooting free throws. Like it's just like funny stuff like that, But
he better come back soon, man. It's getting scary because I was thinking about too. I'm just like, thank God for this fucking play-in tournament. It's another 5 days of rest.
Get them rest. It is 5 days. Oh, I guess it
or whatever it is. I mean, there's I don't know exactly. I think it's.
Mm-hmm.
It's something
that is
like
weird.
that.
I didn't think about that because like you would think like, that makes sense. Where it's like they have to play the game somehow. They're not going to be back to back, right? Every other one you figure you have Eastern Conference, Western Conference one day in the same day, then the next. It's weird.
At least a couple of games. It's more rest.
It's 3 or 4 days. Yeah, it's 3 or 4 days, depending on when you start your series. I'm sure they'll start the ones that don't have the play-in tournament at a little. I mean, I don't know. That's
another.
Whatever. Though we don't have to make those decisions. We don't make enough money to. Yeah. We're not that high on the food chain over at the NBA offices. Yeah. But, anyway. But the more the Knicks win, what I was going to say before, the more the Knicks win now and get better and better and better, and they have all these draft picks and cap space, and they have a controllable star in Julius Randle that they have a team option for next year, like is a bargain, which I'm sure they'll extend them. That starts after the option, of course. Yeah. But
get that done.
They're not as comparable to the Nets 2019 anymore because the Nets in 2019, we talk about it. I'm not even trying to, throw shade.
I agree in a lot of ways.
They were the 6th seed. They had no draft picks. They were lucky to get in the playoff. Not lucky. They won the games, but like they won in the second to last game of the season, which you pointed out to me, to get to the 6th seed. They're 42-40. The Knicks are now how many games over 500? And they're
9.
The 4 seed.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with everything. Knicks are better than that team. Knicks are definitely better. Now, the Knicks season's not over. I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if the Knicks go on a 6-game losing streak to end the season,
this all means nothing.
It's not over yet. So I think you need their full resume before you can make the exact comparison. Mm-hmm. But I would agree at this point, and I don't expect that to happen. I know the Knicks schedule gets tough, but I think the Knicks are going to win games, and they're going to finish whatever they finish over 500, and they're going to be 4 to 6, probably 4, maybe 5. There's a lot of games left. But what I don't understand, though, is, okay, that's true. The Knicks are better. But now we're qualifying your level of excitement based on 6 wins. So the Nets are a 6 seed, and they came from nowhere, and they weren't supposed to be good, and they won games, and they made it to the playoffs. And the Knicks are doing the same thing, but because they won 6 to 8 more games, that allows them to be more excited. And like that to me doesn't make sense. Like that to me doesn't equate.
To me,
I agree they're having a better year, but I can still be excited about my team and be pumped up. Is there like a level like, I can be excited, but I can't be as excited as the Knicks fan because they didn't win that many games? Like to me, that doesn't add up.
I think you're missing the point from my perspective, at least. I can only speak for me and maybe a couple other fans that agree with me. The only reason why I mock that team so much and I got so mad at that team so much was the way that they were perceived nationally and the way that ended up trashing the Knicks just like, look what we did. Look what the Nets did. And the Knicks suck. Look what this did. Oh, and they're not even going to get Zion. Look what the Nets did. And they can't even get Durant. It's just like, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like, screw this team. Who the hell were they? D'Angelo Russell is nothing. Like, he's a fringe all-star. It was the only time he's ever going to be an all-star. You know what I mean? Like, who's this Jared Allen with this big doofy afro? You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, it became like this thing. Like, you're trolling us in the playoffs and putting Charles Oakley. I know I mention that all the time. You're putting Charles Oakley up on the big screen. Richard Jefferson is always trashing the Knicks on TV. You know, they're always taking pot shot. Like, pot shot. I don't know if that's the term. I'm just mad. Like, it's just, they're always taking shots. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
For no reason. You got me mad. Yes, you got me mad. Thank you. You ruined my night.
Happy in this podcast. I wasn't. You were doing a good. Okay, that's all true.
But that's the point. That's the point.
Okay, that's why. I guess then
for me, at least. Yeah, right. I don't know.
Well, for me, I'm thinking to myself, my perspective. I think the Oakley thing is not that big of a deal. I think it's a troll move, but like. That's the hate from that. I mean, seems over the top.
It's just an example. You can't play the innocent like, whoa, why can't we? Like, why are you being so mean to us now? When you're the ones who were taking shots at us 2 years ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And that was just the only example I can think of off the top of my head. That's why I keep bringing it up. But there were so many other examples, like what we talked about it when Garnett and Pierce came to town. They were taking shots at the Knicks at their press conference. The billboard blueprint to success outside the Garden. Yeah. There was so many things that we've all forgotten that if we actually Googled and looked it up and created a list, we'd have a ton of things that the Nets kept doing to try to trash the Knicks. You know what I mean? Like, oh, look how great we are. We're practicing at a park, and look at this dusty arena the Knicks are practicing at. And you know, it's just like, who cares? You're outside playing basketball. Shut up. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot there, and I would.
Nets are not innocent bystanders here. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay, I agree from your perspective, being angry, and that's why you made fun of the Nets. But then I guess you could do from the net perspective, you could find the angles there too, and find all of these Knick points and make the same argument.
Sure.
And why it's okay to put them down. And I'm just like, let both teams celebrate being happy.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't work that way in sports.
That's my view. And I've been stewing on this for a while. Maybe the net loss is getting me motivated to bring up. I didn't troll the Knicks at all or anything like that when the Nets invaded. But the more and more I think about it, the more I'm kind of like happy that they did it in a weird way. But I'm happy that it wasn't for me, because that's just not how I would act. But I'm kind of cool and glad to see that they did it, because I think because of all the years, like everybody always says, this is when the Knicks win, this is a Knick town more than any other team. And I don't think that's true. I think it feels that way because there wasn't another team. Like the Met Yankee.
It was the one unifying team in New York at the time.
Like the Yankees are bigger than the Mets, but the Mets are a brand. They're the Mets.
Right.
Giants, Jets. Giants, I guess, slightly bigger, but the Jets are a brand. And then hockey's its own universe with the three other teams. Mm-hmm. So I think there was this perception that when the Knicks win, there's nothing like it. Because it's like if the fucking Pirates were winning, or if the Cleveland Cavaliers were winning, because it had the idea and the feel that there was only one team in the city. And that's why it had this idea of there's nothing like when the Knicks win in the city. Yeah, because it was just the Knicks. Everybody came together. So with all of that in mind, I kind of like it now, thinking back on it, that the Nets came in and pushed and pushed and pushed. And I don't think the Knicks fan was used to it, because when they saw the New Jersey Nets, it was kind of like, we don't really care about you. Like, I don't care. You went to the finals. I don't respect you. I don't respect you. I think it's nice. I think that's cool. Like, oh, that's great. You like the Nets. That's cute. But I don't respect you. So I think the Nets had to get some respect, had to come in and be like, go fuck yourself. We're here. We might not be you and we might piss you off, but we have to start the war. And this is the way to do it.
Yeah, and it's true, and it all dates back even before the Brooklyn move by the Nets. The Dolan, one of his biggest mistakes. I might be botching the story a little bit. One of his biggest mistakes as owner, and there were a lot. I mean, he has been bad lately, and he gets shitted on lately a little too much. But
Agreed.
One of his biggest mistakes was way back when he needed a vote for something, or they needed some kind of I don't know the whole story. So at the time, the Knicks had a deal with the NBA where nobody could move into their market. Nobody was allowed to move into New York. And that's why the Nets didn't move back to New York. They stayed in Jersey. You know what I mean? Like, they probably wanted to move before and they couldn't. And the Knicks reached out to the Nets to get a vote on something. And to get that, they released their hold on the market or something. It's just something like that.
Gotcha,
and because of that gave the opening for the Nets eventually to move to New York, to Brooklyn, to the city. And they were, because they're in Jersey, they're still in the market, but it's still like Jersey, like, you know, it's not the same. Yeah. So there was something there. That was what started all of this. Because if that doesn't happen, we're not even here. I probably don't even know you. Like, there's a different Back to the Future timeline of the world again. You know what I mean? Like, we're going in a different
erasing
line.
on this video. And all of a sudden, a Knicks fan appears who's wearing an orange and blue hat. Who's like, Derrick Rose is so good. Can you believe what he did in the fourth quarter? That was amazing. Nah, I'm sorry. Sorry, you deserve that.
No, but it's just it's weird how the world works. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good point. And you can talk about like Harden, like, oh, if the Nets don't get Harden, then the Nets are not, you know, going to the championship. But then like, you know, that maybe the Knicks are better and they have a better chance of like really competing in the East. But then it's like, well, where the hell is Harden going to go? Because he wasn't staying with Houston and they were going to trade him in the West. He might go to Milwaukee. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's just like, there's things like that. Like, you can't play this, well, if this didn't happen, then this happened. But it all boils down to that voting situation. I really need to learn that story because I've heard it a few times. I just forgot the whole details to it. You know what I mean? Like, someone like Evan Roberts probably can detail each moment of that story, like things that happen. You know what I mean? Somebody like that can, you know what I mean? Like, we need somebody, or like Alan Hahn or somebody like that can tell us the whole story. But sorry for giving you half of a story, but like that happened. Like, there was something that they had the bottom line, the Knicks had a hold on the city that nobody was allowed to move into their city in the 5 boroughs. And then they gave it up because they needed a vote on something. And that was like the negotiating game. So now we're here. So because of that, we're all here, but that doesn't mean that, you know, the Nets needed to come here and take shots at the Knicks when they were coming here. But like Richard Jefferson said on our podcast, you know, way back when, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So to beat the best, you got to take out the team in your own market. Once you take out your team in your own market, then you take out the teams in the other markets. If you want to, he's just talking about popularity purposes, not like winning, because you could just win a championship and, you know, then you're, you know, that's it. But whatever. Now we're off on a tangent.
I just thought,
look what you did. I was really happy. I was smiling. I was like,
I had to piss you off. Well, I've been stewing on that for a little bit. I've been formulating that in my brain because I keep hearing when the Knicks win, there's nothing like it in New York. And I would agree. Yeah, there isn't. There hasn't been, because there was only one basketball team in New York. No shit. That's why it feels that way. Like, not because then I think it's like, you're telling me when the Mets win, that excitement's different. It's the same fucking idiots that root for both teams. Like, what is it about when you root for the Knicks? All of a sudden it's more exciting. It's the same people. It's just because there was no one else there.
Right. And if the Knicks
New York's such a two-team town, so it's weird.
Yeah, well, there's so many people, and the Knicks have been. So if the Knicks stayed relevant for the last 20, I mean, they were relevant, but if the Knicks stayed good, like, they didn't even have to be like what they were in the 90s, just like be in the playoffs, be decent every 2-3 years, make it to playoffs every 2-3 years, and not bottom out like they did with the Isaiah years, and then when they were tanking, and this, like, you know, they had the 3 Melo years, and then the stupid Marbury chip playoffs that we don't talk about, but like, you know, like there was there was like, if they stayed good, they wouldn't have lost the grip on the city that they had in the 90s. Like, there were fans like, we had Amy Dash on. She said, like, I grew up, I was Knicks. Right. And, you know, she still is, but she lost a little bit of that passion over the years. You know what I mean? Like, you know, she lost, and like, I don't sort of blame her, but she like didn't go and like, hey, I'm gonna be a Nets fan now. That I don't respect. You might like end up being like mad at your team and like being like, you know what? I'm not gonna really pay attention right now. I got better things to do. Yeah. Like, you know, fuck them. You know what I mean? They keep screwing up. And who is this guy? Like, who's Eddie Curry? Who is this fat ass Jerome James? Like, who are these people? Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, and your like all these sexual harassment cases and like what's happening right now? Like, I'm gonna go outside. It's the spring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like, you know, let's put on a movie, you know, like, so whatever.
With that, I actually owe an apology. I owe an apology to the phrase I coined, all of your Knicks assholes on Twitter. Alex's assholes. I gotta say, I like all your assholes. They're really good people. For real. Like on Twitter now. Your crew. I like them all. I mean, I might mute them all because I don't want to hear what they have to say, but I really enjoy our interactions. They're good people. So my apologies.
They're funny.
For that,
you can tell the real people. You can,
of course,
you can tell the real people on Twitter from the stupid trolls and people who have like a picture of nonsense of a cartoon and then fake name, and it's just like, ooh, you know, like, and you can tell the difference.
And if I get mad at something a Knick fan said on Twitter, because it's just passionate excitement for their franchise, that's on me then for not being able
like
to
my
handle
GIF, my Allen Houston GIF that you love.
Yeah,
so much.
and I was joking around when
Of course,
everything
I
I joke, but that's on me for not being able to handle it, because you should be excited. You should be pumped. You should be thrilled. You're 9 games over 500. You're on the verge of a title. I mean, like seriously. I mean, you're playing great. You should be thrilled. You should.
The Knicks are getting to the point where, like, if they get this 4 seed, they keep, like, let's say, right, you have 7 games left, right? You have 7 left. What's the let's see, hold on, let's go. Let's do this Mike and the Mad Dog thing right now. Hold on. So you have 7 left, and if my, of course, is not loading, here we go, almost there. Okay, you have 7 games left. You have at Denver, who's resting everybody. Hopefully that you can win that game, right? You have at Phoenix, at Clippers, at Lakers. Then you come home for the Spurs, Hornets, and Celtics. So you can get, if you can get to this 4 seed and really like separate yourself.
I think 4 and 3 is what you want with that.
Yeah, 4 and 3, or even 5 and 2, or whatever. Even if it's your 500. Oh, you can't be 500, whatever. But you know what I mean.
Like, I think because of math, with an odd number of games, you can't do that.
Even if it's like, if you just tread water for the rest of the season, it's getting to the point where if they don't bottom out, right? If they don't bottom out, let's just say that, it's getting to the point where if they don't win a round of the playoffs, I might be slightly disappointed by how it ended. Like, especially if they go out in 5. If they go to the 7th game and they lose on a game-winning shot, you're just like, all right, you know what? Like, that sucks. I'm upset, but like, you played your asses off and you just didn't do it. Let's do it. Let's get it next year. You know what I'm saying? But like, you go into the playoffs and you get swept by the Hawks. Like, I'm just gonna be like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, why did, what was the point of that?
I'm so glad you brought that up, though, because now it's at the point, and the Nets have a couple of games left, and I know I'm pissed off, and this actually been therapeutic. I feel better.
Good.
I know
I got a cope.
It's not going to matter it matters for home court. If the Nets are having to go to Milwaukee because of these losses, that does matter. That definitely matters. I do think that matters. Like, my brain almost got sidetracked. I want to make a Steve Nash point. I want to make a data point. Remember Steve Nash. But I'm just getting excited for the playoffs, that it's here, it's coming, and like, at least it's finally here. And you and I have had different tracks, right? Like, where the season started with the Harden trade, the Knicks, the expectations, the winning streaks, but we're still going to collide and we'll get to the same spot, which is the NBA playoffs. And I'm just like, thank God we're here. The Nash comment I want to make, and this will be fuel for you, so have fun. I was really disappointed in this game. Not as much in the game versus Milwaukee on Sunday, but the adjustment game. Because this is, in a weird way, it's kind of like a playoff, right? Like, game, a day off, a game, Nets, Milwaukee. And what I saw from Nash today as a coach was really troublesome, Alex. Like, that's the kind of stuff where I'm going, these are the little details that they're going to be a big deal in the playoffs. And, for the Knicks perspective, you probably don't have to worry as much with Tom Thibodeau. For the Nets, it's like, rotations were weird, although you've complained about rotations, but rotations were weird. Not calling a timeout when Milwaukee's on a fucking 16-1 run, like, timeout, really? Stop this. Yeah. Like, it's just like that. And I found it so ironic because Coach Bud, Bucks up 11. Kyrie hits a 3 to make it 8. Timeout. Because
he's like, whoa. Yeah.
You feel momentum, you call a timeout. And it was little things like that where I was disappointed. And hopefully Nash can understand, like, these are things that you're going to have to do because the talent's there, the players are there, that's whatever. But the little details, I almost was hoping for Coach Kyrie Irving, who did this one time earlier in the season, just to be like, I'm out Brooklyn, and just have the ball really? Do it.
Oh, well, the balls. He runs the franchise. I mean, him and Durant run the franchise. He can do whatever he wants. What is Nash going to say? You know what I mean? But that's bad, man. That's scary. I didn't know it was like that. That's something that, D'Antoni needs to step up and be like, dude, call timeout. Like, that's why you're there. Like, that's why he's there. Like, you're the experienced guy. You were his coach. Coach your coach. Like, coach your guy. Like, tell him what to do. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, dude, like, we're losing this game right now. Like, you want to, like, Thibodeau's good at that too. Like, he's good at calling a timeout when there's a run coming. Like, that's something that used to drive me nuts about bad coaches. Like, and I've seen a lot of them, like Hornacek or Derek Fisher or Fizdale. Like, the team is crushing you. Like, you call timeout when it got to 12-0. Like, you could have called timeout at 6-0, and like, we're not that good. Like, maybe we can like hold off this run. But I don't know. I got to ask you something, actually. So there's a thing that Thibodeau is clearly like part of their strategy, the defensive strategy, right? Fast break. Let's say it's not like a 1-on-1 or whatever. It's fast break. It's a 3-on-2 fast break. Knicks foul. Stop the fast break, and they foul. It drives me crazy because it's like you're giving up fouls. Even in the first quarter, the second quarter, they foul. But honestly, I started to try to pay attention to it. I'm not writing down notes. I'm not like that kind of weirdo. But like I'm not writing down notes about like the keeping track of how many times they do this. It seems to me like it's kind of working where like they on that possession they don't get a basket and then you actually save a basket. Yeah. Or do you think that that's a good strategy, or do you think it's like kind of like you're wasting fouls? Like I don't want Julius Randle committing that foul. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like guys like that, but like, or RJ Barrett.
No, I think it's a good strategy, but also there's a time and place for everything. You know, Randle has 2 fouls and there's 3:52 left in the second quarter. I'd rather give up 2 points than have his third foul. Right. That to me would be a bad idea to give it up. But if it's a momentum feel, it's a fast break. You have 1 team foul, you have 2 team fouls. Again, it's like you're not a dork who's taking the notes of it, and you're not, or I guess you're not an assistant coach. And apologies to anybody that is taking notes to that, and shout out to you guys. But
no, don't apologize. If you're taking notes on that, man, go outside. Yeah.
It's time and place. It is time and place, though. You know, like if it's if that's the 5th team foul and you're putting Steph Curry at the line, well, I mean.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, it's because a couple times they committed these fouls and it was like, oh, we got to go review. It might be a clear path. Like, it's just like the juice might not be worth the squeeze to me. It's something Pablo Prigioni used to do back in the day for the Knicks. Like he was like it's like a European,
he was the Nets assistant coach.
Argentinian thing. Yeah. Another Nets assistant. There you go.
Now he's with the T-Wolves.
He was I know he was still an assistant. It's funny. Clyde the other day, he's like, who is that? Like when they're playing the Wolves, like, who is that? He played for us, huh? Because you can't see because he got the mask, and they're like, oh, that's Prigioni. It was a funny thing, but it just drives me crazy because I'm like, just play defense. Like it's like 3-on-3, or it's like a 3-on-2. Like what? Like just play some freaking D. Like like maybe you block a shot. You know what I mean? Like I guess there's a chance that you give up an and one. I mean, at first it used to drive me crazy, and I would tweet in all caps that you love, like stop fouling on transition. But then after a while, I try to calm down and try to like assess it. I'm like, okay, they keep doing this. Maybe they're not scoring on these possessions, or like it becomes a free throw and they make one. You know what I mean? Like, and you're actually gaining over the long haul. Like I don't know. It's just something that just seems lazy to me. You know what I mean?
No, I wouldn't look at it like that. It's strategy. First of all, I wouldn't say anything about Tom Thibodeau is lazy. I saw him smile. I think he smiled the other day, which just shows you how good your season's going. You got Tom Thibodeau to smile.
Yeah, he was on ESPN today. He was on The Jump, and Perkins was interviewing him with Rachel Nichols and Zach Lowe, and like he was like smiling, like, "Hey, Perk!" It's just like, who are you, dude? Like, the best is the mask. Like he's got the mask on, and like he should wear your mask and whatever. But like, he's just like it's on his chin. It's a chin strap. It's just like it's up here, and then like they take it down and yell. Every coach does it. They take it down and yell. It's like the point of the mask is to keep it up when you are talking, like when you are screaming your projectile.
I think at this point it's perception.
It's just that. I mean, like an NBA arena is probably the safest place you can be in general. You have to be rapidly tested or tested within 3 days, or have a vaccine just to get in the building. So the chances of you contracting the virus in an arena is virtually impossible unless you get it on the way somehow. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
They do the rapid test there. I mean.
You got to pay $30 for it at a Knicks game. $30 in 30 minutes, you'll get your test results. It's like, oh, come on, dude! Like, you ever really charge these people?
I was thinking about actually. I'm glad that interesting you said that too. Like playoffs.
Playoffs?
There's gonna be just like the fans in the building. It'll be kind of interesting to hear.
Hopefully, with more fans.
Yeah. What is it gonna be?
Well, you know what it is though. Knicks fans are the loudest, and they're the smartest, and they're the most passionate fans. So like when there's 2,000 Knicks fans, it's really like 20,000. So
I think there's something like that. It's played in the idea now that Knicks know that. So when they go to a game, it's like they have to perform. Would you agree with that?
The fans have to perform like that. The Knicks.
We're the best. No. I gotta make it's like you bring your son. It's like Timmy, step it up a level. We're at a Knicks game. I need you at an 8, not a 6.5. You know this is not a Yankee game. You got to bring your A game. It's not Yankees A's. This is Knicks Pels. Bring your shit, Tim. Bring your shit.
Oh my God. You don't understand. When I used to go to Jets games, like we had Connor Hughes the last time, but whatever. But like I used to go to Jets games, I would like scream like like throughout the whole game, especially when it's a big game. That like Monday, Tuesday, I had no voice. Like I'm going to school or work like an idiot. Like I can't. what's wrong with you, Alex? Like, oh, I was at a football game yesterday. Like, it's just so stupid.
Well, that's what makes you and I different. And we've talked about this in the past on the podcast. I don't yell. It takes a lot for me to yell. If I'm yelling, and I know I'm a Net fan, so I don't have as much. I don't have as much passion, so I get that. But I don't yell. It's more of just like, it's like in a big play. There's a fist pump, but I don't yet. I haven't yelled at the TV for my team in a long time. It doesn't mean I'm nuts. I mean, like, I'm nuts watching these games, and the internal anxiety is all time high. Like, I like watching this Nets Bucks game. I sat in 6 places in the house trying to find the exact location that would work. Didn't work. Okay, that's on me. I couldn't find the spot. I do more of that stuff, which makes sense now that you know me a little bit, more than like yelling and screaming. It's just like moving from different places, finding a spot in the house that's going to help me, and getting a little, like, I can't sit still.
Yeah, a big game, I'll yell in the apartment or the house. I'll yell, or I used to be like, yeah, like with the big fist pump. But then one time I did that, and my dog peed on the floor. I got so scared. Like, she looked at me like, what is going on? I'm sorry. What I do? I'm like, oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I had to clean up. I'm like, I cannot. No more fist pumping. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, what just happened? And so, like, that I don't do anymore. But I will once the Knicks are in the playoffs. I'm sure I'll get into the clapping and the yelling and the this. Like right now, like I'll be like, oh shit, and like I'll be like, oh shit, they won. Like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like I'll just like, I'll get happy. I'll jump off the couch. Maybe I'll clap a little bit. But like I'm not like screaming like it's Jets Patriots week 15 in 2015. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's still, it's in the playoffs. I'll be doing it when it's really like, wow, we can shock someone right now. Holy crap. Like, you know what I mean? This is
or Hawks in 5, baby. There is nothing like that playoff feeling. It is just so
there's nothing.
And it's just a different world. And for you, it'll be, you're going to be on one. As a Knicks fan, I haven't experienced it in a while. For me, I'll be on one too, because of the anxiety of this.
It'd be more stressful for you. Get me to the finals. You're just like, get me to the finals. Right? You're like,
man. My wife and I were watching the Net game, and they do like a 2-week schedule span. And they showed the last game of the year. It's like the Bulls May 15th or May 14th. And I'm like, the anxiety is around the corner. And I started to get like I'm like, this is it. Like, we're here. We
can't watch a game together. If the Knicks and the Nets are going to play,
it's just not. It wouldn't be healthy for our relationship.
No. No, and I'm a big clapper. When I'm at games, I'm a big clapper. Like, oh yeah, yeah. Like big clap. I want to make noise. I want to be, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? I want to yell the funny thing. I want to yell, yeah. Like one of the funniest things I heard at a game was, it was a long time ago. I didn't say it. I laughed and I wanted to steal it, but I never did. Probably like 2005, 2006. I'm at a Mets game, and somebody yells at this random left fielder on whoever the Mets were playing. It was like, you don't even have a Wikipedia page. Like, it was like, oh my God, that was just like a funny, like those kind of clever things to say. Like when I was a kid going to Jets games, like the old guys around us that sat near me, they would yell stupid things. Somebody got up and goes, nobody beats the Wiz, but everybody beats the Jets. And like that kind of stuff is the things that I grew up around. And it's like, I just like enjoy that kind of aspect of going to a game. And that's why going to a game now with a pandemic and you're so far away from everybody and just like, you don't feel that same energy of like, it's just, and the tickets are like triple the price. I'm just like, I want to go to a playoff game. Trust me. I'm going to try to get to one, but I need a little more. I need you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We'll go and see what happens.
I'm not sure if you can hear that noise in the background, but every so often at night in the woods behind where I live, there's like this woody, grassy area. There's these animals that yell. Somebody said there's animals having sex, and that's like their grunt, and you can hear it. And it's terrifying. I don't know if you could hear that on the podcast, but it totally got me distracted. It's like,
oh no, I was waiting for a punchline. Like, that's a true story. That's I was waiting for like, this is how Knicks fans are, or something.
No. I don't know how Knicks fans act sexually. I'm just saying, there's this loud noise coming through, and it's just, I think it stops. So it's just scary. I've only one time ever engaged with a player in a game where I was able to get contact and we had something. It was Paul Pierce. 2003, Nets went up 2-0 in the playoffs, and he was like nodding his head like, yeah, that's right, we're fine. And I did one of these, and he looked at me and he kept nodding. He's like, okay. I was like, that was the only time because he would.
You actually got to one, yeah.
Because he was just like Pierce got on my nerves, man. He got on my nerves. That Celtics they got me mad.
I was at a Jets game recently, maybe 3 years ago. They played the Dolphins. It was a McCown year when Robbie Anderson caught this big deep ball. It was Jamal Adams was a rookie, and I bought my dad tickets because we didn't have the season tickets anymore. I bought him tickets like we were like 10th row on the 40-yard line, something crazy. Jamal Adams hit someone and like hit someone and recovered the fumble in like the same motion. And he got up and he was all hyped up and he was just like, yeah. And like, we both looked at each other. We're like, yeah, yeah. Like both pointed at each other, like for like that half a second. Like we were like, I was like right there. It was like me and Jamal Adams, you know what I mean? And now it's like, thanks for the picks. Go F yourself.
Yeah. That reminded me.
We'll always have that moment though. Me and Jamal.
It did remind me of a play I did get pretty excited for. And I don't want to downplay this because if you're listening to this, you're like, Mike's not excited. He's not a fan. It's just, there's just a lot going on in his head. A lot going on. The Victor Cruz 99-yard touchdown versus did it to me. That got me. That play
got you excited.
Yeah.
I was at that game.
That was a big game for the Giants and Jets.
That was huge, and that changed. The Jets haven't been the same since. And so, like that game,
Super Bowl that year too, Alex.
Oh, thanks. I didn't realize. But so that at that time, me and my dad, we had tickets, and we were in the corner of the end zone of where he ran to, like 19th row. So like it was kind of here, and the end zone was here. And for the people who know, it's the corner of the end zone. Okay, so I'm up 19 rows in the corner. So I can't really see the play on the other side that detailed. I just see an out route to Cruz, and then I hear a loud cheer, and then all of a sudden he's running towards me. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And then he's like, throws the ball right here, does his little sauce. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding? What just happened? That was just like, are we joking right now?
Well, see, Alex, that's what makes
that was not a good moment.
See, no, that wasn't a good moment. But it's those moments that you remember that's going to make the moment where it happens just feel so good. Like I did get my revenge. I don't know the kind of joy that I'm just praying to feel, like the release if the Nets win the title, like the culmination of all the bullshit just percolating out. That's what it's there for. So it's almost like, it's been bad. Yeah, it sucked. But the moment it happens, it'll all be worth it. It'll all be worth it.
No, it was. And I'll tell you, it was worth it 4 years later when I went with my Giants fan friend and his cousin, and he had season tickets to the Giants. And I went to the Jets-Giants game where the 2015 year where Brandon Marshall catches the big touchdown. Bilal Powell catches the little running back dump, and he takes it to the house. And like, then the Giants miss the field goal and the Jets win. And I'm running out down this, all like screaming, yelling, like, yeah, we got you. Like guys are like shoulder bumping me on the way out. And I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, what do you want? Like, you know what I mean? Like bumped up. Like it's been a long time for me to be excited about the Jets, but I'm definitely excited after that draft. I'll tell you that. I wasn't excited going into it, but I'm excited afterwards. They're actually, what a concept. They drafted offensive players, offensive linemen, and wide receivers and running backs. And like, holy crap, we're not drafting all defensive linemen and kickers and punters and stuff. Like, this is incredible. Like, we're getting into this century. But anyway, I don't know. People are bored of the draft by now.
Would you
just had to say that?
All right. If I said the Knicks make it to the finals this year, but the Jets never make the playoffs again for the rest of your life, what are you picking?
The Knicks make it to the finals this year.
How about this? Knicks win a championship this year. All this magic.
Win a championship.
They win a title. It's a Julius Randle 3 against those pesky Warriors that somehow make it to the finals. Incredible story. The Knicks win the finals in 7. Jets never make the playoffs for the rest of your life.
No, I can't do that because you're not guaranteeing me that the Knicks can't win the final and win the championship next year. You're not saying.
No, I'm just saying
this year and never win again. Then maybe I would say that. Sure, give me that. But if the Knicks could actually win the championship next year and then the Jets can go in the playoffs and be normal, like sure, and let's deal with the devil. Yeah, no, fuck
so
that.
Saying, so that okay. Yeah. So you're saying no title.
No title. I'd rather just win the title next year and have the Jets make the playoffs too. And Zach Wilson becomes the next Tom Brady, and Elijah Moore becomes the next Steve Smith.
Okay.
Not the Giants Steve Smith, but the Panthers Steve Smith. And we become like this legendary franchise with a great offensive line. And I know that's never going to happen. And in 3 years, we're really just gonna have a new coach, new GM, and new quarterback. But hey, like right now, I'm positive. So like I'm gonna go with that. You know what I mean? So let's see.
Alex's assholes. If you're listening, you had
Yes,
a
you
chance
know
to
who
win
you
the
are.
championship, and Alex said no. This one's on Al. Anybody call you Al?
Sorry, nobody calls me Al. I
Can I
hate
call you
Al.
Al?
No, you can't.
Big Al?
Nobody calls me Al or Alexander, and like those are like two names that I don't go. Alexander's the full name, obviously.
A-Dog?
A-Dog. No, actually, a friend of mine used to call me Lex. He used to call me, yo, Lex. What's up? Like Alex, Lex. He used to call me Lex, or Penny was one of my nicknames from college, my frat name. But other than that, those are my
I heard
names.
that story for the first time. Don't know how.
Oh yeah, when we were out with our my fiance and your wife really hit it off, man. They're like becoming,
They're starting a
fast track.
podcast.
Yeah, fast track to best friends, dude. Like they're already like, deep conversations. We're like in the other room watching a basketball game. They're like in the other room, like really discussing life and shit.
Yeah.
Like looking at
I got
like,
nothing to say to
shit.
you. I'm like, I talk to you fucking once
What
a
are we
week,
talking
hour
about?
and a half. I'm shocked.
I think we discussed Robert Covington. We're like, oh, Robert Covington. Yeah, he hasn't been that good this year. That's the depth of our conversation, our friendship.
Stupid. Yeah. I'm a simple human being, man. What do you want from me?
Same here. But it was fun. Going out with you was fun, man.
Funny.
That was a good time. Nice to meet your
it was
baby,
okay.
and you met my Ruby, my dog, and everybody we had a good time.
Yeah, except for Leon.
Except for Leon, your cat ran away.
Yeah, he's over here now, just spaced out sleeping. But it's not your dog. Your dog's sweet as can be and incredible. Leon's he's a scaredy cat. Like he is.
Yeah.
He's not used to having other animals in the house.
He's a pussy cat. Yeah.
He is, and it just scared him, man. I mean, he's good. He's a good guy. He means well. Great heart. He's just not used to having that. So I would love for you to met Leon, but he ran for under the bed.
He was out of there, dude. He was out of there. I wonder what his 40 time is, because it's at least a 4.2. Like that's
I think
he
it's
was
under
gone.
4.
Yeah, he was gone. Yeah, he was moving. He was moving and grooving. That's for sure.
All right, we've hit the point in the podcast where we're talking about my cat's speed. So
let's do. You want to do some jersey number trivia? Yeah. So we're on episode 60. So what we do every week, we do per episode, we do a jersey number. But since we're in the 50s and 60s, there's no jerseys. So we're gonna pick a random number. Wait, is there any 60? Oh, no 60 for you. No net 60. So what's the 4th? Today's the 4th. So may the 4th be with you, Mike. May the 4th be with you.
That's a joke from a movie. Well, there is no 60 on the Knicks.
Oh, damn.
All right, you want me to go first? Do you want to go first?
You can go first.
All right, I'm going to give you an easy one. Number 45 for the Knicks.
45.
He was no, I'm wrong. No, I don't want to do 45. 45.
Shandon Anderson.
Let's do.
Was Shandon Anderson 45? I think he was.
Let's do. I changed my mind. We'll do 40. We'll do a 45 for the Knicks. Okay, we will do a 45 for the Knicks. He was a center for the Knicks. He started his career in Oklahoma City, ended it in Minnesota. The middle-ish years were in the what's that?
Cole Aldrich.
You got it.
Yeah, boy.
You
I'm
got
back.
it. You got it.
I am.
Don't even ask me. I'll fuck it up.
45. Come on, tall.
Oh, we're doing a net?
Yeah, Nets 45.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was in a serious car accident.
Yeah.
Tom Bradley.
Yeah, that was easy.
That was terrible.
I want to do a harder one. That was an easy one for you. Let's see. So I'll do. Let's see. I want to try to get your wheelhouse, because you told me your wheelhouse once or recently.
My wheelhouse is 2000 to 2004. You're not going to
so
get
number 6.
Everything there, I'll get.
Number 6. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Kenny Martin. Yeah, it's okay. Damn. Let's see. I'm gonna pick a random number. Okay, so we did that one already. I was gonna do Tamar Slay again, but it's already.
We got that last week. Number 8.
Yeah, I'm trying to get.
You want to go Brandon Armstrong, number 1?
This is one of my guys. Like, I was a big fan of his. Number 9 for the Nets. Played for the Nets in 2004 for only 34 games. So it looks like he was like a midseason.
The 34 game ones. Those are
but he started 31 games in 1997.
Wait, I'm confused. He was on the Nets in 97 or what year was he on the Nets?
Oh, he's on the Nets in 97 and 2004. So he ended his career in 2004.
Okay, so he was with the Nets in 97 and then came back.
Yeah, in 2003, 2004. Yeah. But it looks like he was an end of the bench, like, I'm washed up, I'm 34.
Oh, interesting. This one I want to get, and I'm gonna have to work through this. We're gonna have to workshop it.
Dolan J. Trump is yelling at the podcast right now. I know
he was a big Net fan then. He was a diehard Nets fan at that time. So that's for those listening that don't know that. Dolan J. Trump on Twitter, I call him Jay now. He was a huge Net fan before he became, this Knicks icon. He was a big Net fan. He's one of the teams he loved. He has said on the record that rooting for the Knicks is more fun than rooting for the Nets. So I'll have to take his word for it. The guy knows basketball better than anybody.
Well, he's become, just by becoming a Knicks fan, he's become more smart and louder. Yes. And it's just everything. It's just
the true him is coming out. He was always meant to be a Knicks fan, and now he's where he needs to be. All right. So number 9, he was on the Nets in '97. Oh, this is interesting.
I think he might have had a different number in in 2004. Or a different number in '97. He definitely had a different number in '97. Because
so what year was he number 9? Let's start with that.
He was number 9 when he was a washed up nobody in 2004. So let me see if I can find out what his number was.
That's gonna be tough. I feel like I should know this.
Really I don't want to give you what team he was biggest with because he's going to give it away.
When he came back, is it 03, 04, or 04, 05? I mean that.
He's number 14 the first go around. It was 03, 04 when he came back, and when he was
03, 04
he was number 9. But he was number 14 in 96, 97 when he looked like he was a midseason acquisition, or he was a midseason trade. I don't know, Basketball Reference. I don't know which one is which with the way they do it here. I'm assuming it was mid-season to the Nets.
I should know this, right?
I would, if I can give you the hint that I wanted to give you. He was you probably should know it. Give it another minute or so.
I just worry that honestly, I would sit here all night with you and do this.
I know I just think
annoying it's so boring for somebody listening. That's like, where's that 30-second feature on the podcast? Because Mike can't name a net that I don't give a shit about. That's what worries me. So give the clue.
Okay, he was big. So he was big on that Dikembe Mutombo Denver Nuggets team. That I believe that was the year they upset the Sonics.
The Sonic year. Oh my God! Now I'm just. You know what happens though? It's the pressure of like knowing that. Now
he was one of the big stars on that team, and he played a couple years at Dallas after the Nets. I mean, but me personally, I associate him with those Nuggets teams, with LaFonso Ellis and those guys. You know what I mean? Like that squad. Sick highlight tape too.
Just say who it is. It just ruined my.
Robert Pack.
What was Robert Pack? It's funny. Yeah, he was.
Did you say who was Robert Pack?
No, I know who Robert Pack is. He was.
I was just like, are you fucking?
Okay, this is how. Okay. Here's the net reference that only 8 people listening to this podcast will know. When Robert Pack scored a basket for the Nets, they'd play the Pac-Man sound. Okay, so when you're at the Garden being like the Mecca, I'm at a net game being like, okay, I know who Robert Pack is. But he was on. I'm more concerned. I didn't know he was on the 03-04 team. That I had no idea. That's what
he played. He played 26 games in 8.5 minutes per game. He was nothing. Like it was probably just like, hey, we need a body. You know what I mean? Like
they would also do another thing when Pack would score. They were so stupid. These Sounders. They would go, the leader of the pack, like from that like a doo-wop song. The leader of the pack. I was like, ugh. So embarrassing.
I know how you feel, man. Going to Jets games used to be a lot more fun when it was like, before a Jets game, they would like, let's say they're playing the Panthers, you would have like, oh, there's a panther, like right before kickoff, there's a panther on the screen, and everybody look at it like, what's going on? And all of a sudden you see like a jet like coming up, like a guy in the Army and the Air Force like getting a gun ready, and he'd like fucking blow, and it'd be like an explosion, and like. But then, the animal rights people said that's
season tickets next year. Come see the Jets. So you get animation.
And now it's now you go to Jets games like, and that's a Jets first down. Like I hate that so much. Like I will never cheer for that. But anyway.
So I think
I'll cheer for first down, but I'll not do the stupid chant. Okay.
Dolan, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
I think I think it went Pack, got dealt for Cassell. Cassell got dealt for Marbury. Marbury got dealt for Kidd. I think there's like a weird point guard trade scenarios there. I might not be positive on that. I know Cassell for Marbury and Marbury for Kidd, but I want to say I want to say Pack was involved in the deal that got Cassell.
So here it is. So Robert Pack signed with the Nets as a free agent, and then he was traded to Dallas in the middle of the season. And the Nets traded Pack, Ed O'Bannon, Sean Bradley, Khalid Reeves, and the Nets got Sam Cassell, Jim Jackson, who was doing the game today for the Nets, Chris Gatling, Eric Montrose, and George McLeod. Chris Gatling, your all-star. Wasn't that your all-star?
That year? I don't think so.
Or it was an all-star for maybe it was an all-star for the Mavericks or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then Cassell got dealt in the Marbury deal. And then Marbury got dealt in the Kidd deal. So that
yeah. And every team that Marbury left got better, which was funny.
I think that it's in my yips now with the numbers, Alex.
In your head?
Yeah, Lex, I don't know what the deal is with that.
Lex.
Somebody told me that.
Yeah, no, I know. It's a good nickname. At least it's a strong nickname.
That's fair.
So anyway, another one was Squid, actually, another funny nickname that I had when I was a kid. When we first were going out, we first saw like cars and stuff like that. We drove to a Hooters, and the Hooters waitress named all of us nicknames. And for some reason, she called me Squid, and then everybody just kept calling me Squid. It was pretty funny. Okay, anyway. Okay, so poll question time. Oh, yeah, we did it. Okay, I'm crazy. I'm losing it. So poll question. Knicks fans.
Hated this. I hated this one.
So every week, for the new listeners, every week I do a poll question on my Twitter account at Knicks Central, and I read the results, and Mike makes fun of all the responses that I read, and we have a good time. So Knicks fans, what first round playoff matchup do you prefer? The Heat, the Hawks, or doesn't matter, Knicks in 4?
I just didn't like that. I just didn't like that.
I'm having a good time, man. I'm happy.
I was in there. No, I'm sure. Yeah, I guess you're. I'm the fun police, man. Like,
yeah, you are.
I'm gonna take a shot of that tweet and remember it for later.
Oh yeah, exactly. You're the fun police. Fun police is a little bit better than the rivalry police. The rivalry police are.
You hate the rivalry.
They're really aggressive. I don't understand. Like because it doesn't make any sense. They're just like it's not a rivalry. They have to do X, Y, Z. You know, like okay, all right, buddy. So anyway, what do you think won? What
Hawks.
Hawks won by a landslide, 62%. Hawks 33%. Doesn't matter. Knicks in 4.6%. Heat. So nobody wants to see the Heat, and I don't blame them. Yeah, no, that's I don't want to see them either. It'll bring back memories of the old 90s Knicks and the Heat and whatever. But we did that in 2011 or 12 or whatever year that was. We had that. We lost in 5. We won our first playoff game in a million years. Balloons came down from the ceiling. That's great. We had our moment. We had our reminiscing. Let's play the Hawks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Hawks and Knicks share something in common. No playoff experience. The Heat have it. And that would.
Well, the Hawks have guys. The Hawks actually signed free agents, and they have guys that have been around the block. You know what I mean? They have Gallinari, Bogdanovich. They have guys that have been in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So,
but I'm saying, has Bogdanovich been in the playoffs?
I feel like he has. I don't know. There's 2 Bogdanoviches. I can't keep track of which one is which.
But I was just saying, like the stars. I think, like, okay, you know, those are the guys that haven't been there, and you just know Jimmy Butler's going into the series being like, oh, don't give a shit. Don't care. Goran Dragic is like, I've done this. I've been there. So that would just worry me from that end. I'm not even talking about who's a better team. Just guys that get in the playoffs are going to feel a little more relaxed. I think Miami is a much tougher out than Atlanta. I don't care about seeds. I don't care.
Yeah, the Hawks do have a lot of young guys, but they do have like Lou Williams now. They have Clint Capella. These guys have been around the block. Like, you know what I mean? They have a good mix of young and old guys. So like that's why they're a really good team.
No, they're a good team. I'm just saying compared to Miami. Miami feels like crusty and old, and you know,
Miami's a team you want to avoid though. I just win your games, get as high a seed as you can, and let the chips fall where they may.
Right, you're gonna have to beat teams. And I say that about the Nets. Like ultimately, you can try. I want to be here, and I want to play there, and I want to play this. If the games are in front of you and you win, it's like that just kind of just shows the irrelevance of the regular season. Just go out and get the W's, and it just doesn't matter.
Right. It really doesn't. All right. So some responses. Oh, yeah. Well, remind me to do one more thing after this is over. Okay. So just remember that. So our boy at JSki193, him and his cat and his dog, he loves us. He's a great guy.
You got a dog?
Yeah, I think he has a cat and a dog, he told me. I don't know. Let us know, J-Ski. Come on. So I would love the Heat since they owned us in the regular season, and a shot at redemption would be awesome. But I have to go with the Hawks. I would like to see us advance to the second round, and I feel we can take the Hawks. I'd rather a tougher matchup in the second round. That's a good point. Then we have Jeff De La Rosa. He's the host of The Culture. podcast, I guess. He's at De La Rosa Elite. De La Rosa Elite. He goes, Heat, cold, warmth, Hawks, Falcons, Doves. It don't matter. Knicks in 5.
What teams? The Doves?
He said, Heat, cold, warmth, Hawks, Falcons, Doves. It don't matter. Knicks in 5. Like, who cares who they are? Then we have my guy. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense why we're so confident, but we are. I mean, well, it does make sense.
You haven't lost in 3 weeks.
It doesn't make sense why the Knicks are so good, but we're confident. So we're gonna enjoy the moment. We have
as you should.
As we should. Thank you. Azad Yakatali. He's at a Yakatali. He goes, I want to avoid the Heat at all costs. Yeah, that seems to be the theme. Avoid the Heat at all costs. It's just like one of those things. Like we have to avoid them, but you know what? I think they can beat the Heat. You know what I mean? Like, but
sure.
At the end of the day, we'll see what happens. I mean, look what they did against the Suns. The Suns are a better team. Knicks got down to the end, and Chris Paul just hit some crazy shots.
Right.
Like that. He can easily miss those shots, and then you win that game. You know what I mean? The Knicks can go toe to toe with any team. Too. Yeah. But the playoffs are different.
Games will happen in the playoffs. It's even start at the end.
Right. And it's weird. Like Julius Randle, he played so many years on the Lakers, and he's never been to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like usually you've been on the Lakers a bunch of years. At least you've been in the playoffs one or twice. It's a weird thing. That was a weird era of Lakers basketball. But how about that squad though? You had D'Angelo Russell, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle,
Kobe,
Kuzma, Lonzo Ball. Like
weird.
Like why didn't they just? I mean, it's just you draft these guys that are so young, and then you have to make these decisions. I mean, they got LeBron James and they got Anthony Davis.
It worked out. They won a title.
Yeah. So then we have Z, the Knicks fan. So he's at ZYK_417. Goes easily the Hawks. The Heat matchup, will kill us. It says with us, so I think he means will kill us. Yeah, it's
you should have
the theme.
You should have been like, or we drop to the 6 and play the Nets at the 3. That would have been interesting.
Then we have Mr. Really Don't Give a Damn. He's at Tron7480, my guy. He always changes his handle. It's pretty funny. He goes, bring on whoever, #Knicks. And then he has a gif of saying, I ain't scared of nothing. So, like, pretty
Except
good sense of humor.
My taxes that I have to do. Yeah.
I ain't scared of nothing. Even my guy, everybody's my guy or girl. I don't know. Half these people, I don't know if they're men or women because it's just pictures of like boxing gloves or things, but RJ Felton, he's at RJ Felton 1. He's probably a male, but he goes, love knocking Miami out of the playoffs, ... Again. Yes. But you know what? It's not 1999 anymore. So like, I mean, I love you, RJ, but it's just, you know what, man, like path of least resistance. Let's go. Like at least in the first round, we're gonna have to face these good teams eventually, as if we want to like really compete. Which is, we're not going to win a title, but if you want to, like, you have to beat them. To be the best, you have to beat the best. There's a lot of cliches I'm throwing out here. It's the end of the podcast, So then we have what? Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
No. I agree. Okay. I agree with you, Alex. Lex.
Oh, thanks for the input. That was great.
I'm the best.
That's why you're gonna let it go. But anyway, so. Our guy Coonies, he had another topic he wanted to discuss, and I forgot to bring it up before. I bookmarked the tweet, but I bookmarked it at the end. So
is this what I'm supposed to remind you of?
Yes. So he goes,
I have to remind you of something.
Oh, okay. Ready? Okay.
Go.
Okay. So here it is. So Coonies, he's at Kunal ___. He goes, need Mike to discuss why Nets fans are so doom and gloom after any loss, because my timeline after that Bucks game was looking real sad. Lots of, we need Harden, like they didn't have 2 superstars on the floor. And he's kind of nailed the beginning of this podcast. Do you care to comment on Cooney's
I want to win a championship.
That's it?
That's it.
Short
I want to
win
a title.
Okay. You don't want to throw some curses or anything in there? No?
No, I mean, I'm answering your question. I want to win a championship. I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Bad loss. Feel bad. Your 1A player is on the bench. You miss him.
Can I be your anger translator? Like in those
sure.
Key and Peele.
Go for it.
And go fuck yourself. That's what you want to say. Like,
no, I mean, honest. Like, why were they doom and gloom? I mean, because
we're mad that my team lost, so go fuck yourself. That's what you want to say, really.
Man, I want James Harden back. They don't feel as if they can win a title without him. How about that?
Right. And they can't. I mean, they can, but it's not going to be as easy.
I mean, they can,
it's
but
not
I
going to
don't
be as easy.
know.
Yeah,
I'd rather
would you
him
prefer
there.
have James Harden or not have James Harden? I mean, like,
that's my honest answer. Is like, if I was looking at the tape and just based on resume and how he's played in the past, I would say, in my opinion, I think they're better if they add James Harden. I think when the Nets don't have him, they're not as good. So if you're looking at the roster and you're like, okay, who's going to take up the ball? Who's going to be a ball handler? How can he help get the offense together? I think they're better with him than without him. That's just my opinion.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Do you want to do our quick pose for the screenshot picture?
Yeah.
On what do you want to do? All right, I'll do this again. No, I already did this thing. Just be like, let's be like very serious.
Cover you. Can I do that? No, I can't.
I'm not be serious. Camera. Should we do a serious? He's putting up the hat of the brim of his hat. Ready?
I can't get it to stay. All right, this is great audio.
Okay, I think we get something there.
It's been Bad Weather Fans, episode number 60.
The hat of the brim of the hat was up like in what do you call it? What's the movie? White Man Can't Jump, like Sidney Dean.
Good movie. Maybe I'll watch that with Ryan tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go.
This has been Bad Weather Fans, episode 60. Hey, guys, don't forget, you can find this podcast also on YouTube. Please go watch it. Subscribe. We're going to be adding content to the YouTube page that we promise. We'll be gearing up for the playoffs. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of interactive content, and it's going to be enjoyable. So thank you to the Knicks fans. Thank you to the Net fans. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you to everybody that's tweeting. Man, Alex isn't as miserable in real life as he is on Twitter. I agree. Great points. Alex, good shit. Good luck to your Knicks tomorrow night versus the Nuggets. We'll see what happens with the Nets versus Dallas. And there we go, bud. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Mike. Have a good night.